What's up, you guys? It's your favorite fucking host with the most from your favorite fucking podcast to ever exist on the internet in games. And we're here again with another episode. Turn up. Let's get started with today's episode. But first, a quick message. If you guys like this content, like these web series, like this episode or any of the past episodes, if you're cramming on these episodes all at once, make sure that you like, leave a comment, and hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much. So, today we are talking about my thoughts on when your culture lets you down and what you should do, and understanding your place and understanding your narrative. And this is a really good topic. I don't know um, if we've talked about narrative or not, but I love that topic because it's very important that people know that they control the narrative, that they are important, and that their story is a one in a lifetime thing. So get ready to hear me preach about narrative whenever that time comes. We're talking about when your culture lets you down. And I don't mean like, for this topic, I don't mean like disappointing aspects of a culture that, people push onto the world or project onto other people. What I mean by this topic is like when your culture or subculture around you kind of lets you down, or something gets popular that you don't necessarily agree with in that sense. So I just want to say that, life is about ups and downs in general, and highs and lows, and dealing with that the best of your ability and giving it your best shot. And I really think that when it comes down to it, how you react, how you eternalize, how you um like project onto other people is a reflection of you. So I think that when people like push a bad narrative onto your life, that's not a reflection of you. It doesn't really mean that you're the bad person, that you're the villain, that you're the bad guy. It means more of a reflection of that person. So I just want to put that out there, that I also think that, culture isn't perfect and subcultures aren't perfect, but we like to think that they are, and we love them the same. We love them regardless. But I think that, there are times when your culture or your subculture will, break your heart. There are times when you don't agree with everything, and I think that when it comes down to those moments, that you should just take everything with a grain of salt as it is, but also you should very much live your life in the moment of being proud of who you are, being part of your culture, being part of your subculture, being part of your aesthetic, because that is a genuine spectrum of who you are, and that is, but anyways, I like to think that, when you don't necessarily agree with something in the subculture, that always means that, the subculture has room to grow. And that is an important part of being a part of a culture, because, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, all we have is like our culture. in our narrative. Speaking of narrative, so let's talk about controlling your narrative. And I'm a big avid um I'm a big advocate of I'm a big advocate for, supporting people in their narrative and supporting people in what they believe in, what they want to be a part of, and all of that, because it's all about learning and growth and understanding yourself in this life. And that's something that is very important that people often look over or forget about, and that's sad. So I just wanted to talk about narrative for a little bit, because I think that people just look over it way too much. So let's define narrative real quick. A narrative is a spoken or written account of connected events, a story. The second one is informed of the concerned with narration. A narrative, a story, or a tale is an account of series or related events in your experiences. So I just think that people get so wrapped up and too busy in believing what they want to believe or seeing what they want to see, that they forget that your narrative is you. It shapes you, it defines you, it reflects you, and we aren't put on this earth to define other people. We are put here to learn about ourselves, create discipline for ourselves, to dream, to make big ideas happen, and like mindset and all of that. So I just think that when it comes to narrative, that people could always learn. And I know I keep saying learning, but that's really what it's about. It's about learning and knowing what's important about yourself. And it's not okay to take that away from people. It's not okay to feel like you should take that away from people. And it's also not okay to deny that part of your life. That's why when I say cultures, or when I say subcultures, I believe in how do I explain culture? Your reflection of life and your narrative are like the two big things, like when I think of culture. And sometimes we don't always agree with that. Sometimes it needs room to grow, or sometimes you just don't see eye to eye or stuff like that. But I think that it's important, because when people remember, what am I trying to say? When people remember that they know themselves more than the situation right in front of them that is finite, that you react differently, you act differently, and that's a reflection of you. And it all starts with like knowing yourself and knowing your culture and knowing what you're about and knowing what you want and what you need and how you're learning from them. So I think that narrative plays a big part in that, because I think the system doesn't really want you to know that you can control your narrative. But that's a story for a different day. Anyways, thank you guys for watching for another amazing episode of the web series. And if you guys like this episode, make sure you like, leave a comment, and hit the subscribe button. I'll be back.